What's up, everybody, and welcome to the land flipping free course. So I'm going to show you guys A to Z what it's going to take for you guys to start your new land flipping business in 2026, the new way that we are currently doing things, right? So this is a business model where you can make millions in real estate, starting with no money, having no real estate experience or even business experience. You can do it for anywhere in the world on your own time, and you can be your own boss and stop trading your time for money, right? I know I'm making a lot of bold claims, but I have actually done this myself and I have seen other people do it as well. So this is what we're going to go dive into right now, right? So this is just a little bit of proof that it works. If you read right here, here's a news article by Yahoo Finance, and by no means is this to flex. I just know there's a lot of stuff on the internet right now, so just want to get everyone's attention here. So here's my brother and I, we did $5 million in profit over the past 3 years. The article's there. And then I actually started with $73. You can see this was May of 2022. It's currently December 7th of 2025, right? So just over 3 years, 3.5 years now. And this is kind of our story, right? But it's not just us, right? Here's Cade. He went from 0 to 86K in a month within his first 3 months, right? $86,000 in escrow set to close. I'm pushing $100,000 in assignment fees this month. Thank you, Jackson, Carson, and Grayson. So there's Cade's story. Michael surpassed 10K in a single month, 6 deals closed, right? JVs or partnership deals. Not going to dig in too much to their stories. Just want to show you guys that it actually works, not only for us, but for other people that could be just like you if you get started with your business, right? Here's Jan. He was able to do this. Let's see. In 1 month of wholesaling, I did more money than I did working 20 hours per week for a whole semester at his minimum wage job, right? So again, here you go, $5,200 wire in his first month doing so. Corey, first 30 days, 5 contracts, 9,500 in closings, right? So again, like this works for a lot of people. Nala, 30K in, let's see, his first month, $30,000 profit, right? So again, I could go on. I have literally 50, 60, 70 people I could just name drop right now that are successful doing this. And this could be you if you were to move forward with your land flipping business, right? So, and then also Caleb also was 17 when he started. His mom had to get the checks for him because he was not old enough to open a bank account, but he made 6 figures in his first 6 months. So what is wholesaling real estate, right? Because we're wholesaling land here, but what actually is wholesaling real estate, right? So what this means is if I'm the wholesaler, right, I'm in the green right here, and I go to a house owner, right? This is wholesaling houses, what most people do. And I say, hey, I'll give you 200 grand for your house. They say yes. I get a contract that allows me to resell that house. Then I go to a fix and flipper, for an example, and I say, hey, will you buy it for 215? If they say yes, I get 15,000 as the middleman, but I don't actually have to put up any of the own money myself, right? So I just get a $15,000 profit without using any of my own money because that contract lets me sell someone else's property without ever owning it, right? So what is that contract? Here you go right here. This clause right here. Buyer and or assigns, right? That assigns is very, very important because it lets me assign their property to someone else or sell it without ever owning it myself, right? Cool. So what are we doing here? So we're going to home builders. And if a builder tells me he'll pay $40,000 for any lot, then I will go get that lot for $30,000. And if I get a lot under contract at $30,000, he will pay $40,000 without putting up any money at all. I get a $10,000 wire and I'm not putting any money up, right? So what are the actual 3 steps to your land flipping business? Is the first one is going to be how to lock in home builders that will buy your deals from you, how to get a seller at less than the buyer will pay, the home builder. And then my favorite step, how to actually get paid when you have the seller and the buyer, right? So how do you actually get paid after the fact? So step 1 will be the home builders, right? How do I lock in a home builder? But like a lot of people will ask me the questions like, how many lots do these builders really need to buy? Or why don't the builders just cut you out and go straight to the seller, right? And those are great questions. I was very skeptical as well when I first got started. So here's just a little bit of the top 10 home builders, right? And they had 93,000 closing. D.R. Horton, they actually buy from wholesalers a lot. They have land acquisition teams to work with land flippers. And you can just go down the list here, 80,000 closings, 30,000 closings, 20,000. And these are just 10 builders, right? There's tens of thousands of builders, and I'm actually going to show you how to get access to them. So here you go too. Also, if people think it's saturated, stuff like that, there was 1.7 million building permits filed in 2021, whereas in 2010, there was only 600,000, right? So it's growing pretty rapidly. So I know we all love AI and ChatGPT now. I asked it to make me a projection for the next 10 years. And as you can see here, by 2031, it's expected to go up by almost another million permits, right? So this is actually a growing industry and it's still something that's very, very untapped, right? So the next thing is, why don't the builders just cut you out and go straight to the seller? And that's, again, great question, right? So I have it at 30K, they're at 40K. Why doesn't the builder just say, hey, I'll give you 35 and they both make more money, right? Well, they can't, because once that seller signs with you, they cannot sell to anyone else except through you or with that assignment where you can resell it, right? So the seller cannot do that. If they do, you file a memorandum of sale and it basically puts a lien on their property, right? So they actually cannot cut you out, right? So how to find a market and a builder, right? And this is made super, super easy with a platform called BuilderBridge.ai. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys this platform right now. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up. So if I go to BuyerBridge, so it's BuyerBridge.ai. It's $4.97 a month. So like, again, you don't need this, but it's very helpful. And you click on buyers and you want to know where you want to get started, right? So I'm going to go first to that market map, right? So if you look on the left-hand corner, I'm going to go to this market map. What's this showing me is every single builder in the United States has pulled for more than 3 building permits, new construction in the last 12 months, right? So I'm going to go to the heat map, try to go find a nice hot market here. And let's see, right? So the red states have more than 50 builders. I'm going to zoom in and try to find a city with more than 50 builders, right? So there's 1775 builders in Florida, right, guys? Like, think about how easy it would be to land one of these builders, right? So I'm going to keep zooming in. Where are the hot markets down here. I know a hot market for wholesale is going to be Lehigh. So I'm just going to click on Lehigh. There's 106 builders with contact information, right? You can see all this contact information. So all I want to find out is what they want to pay for these properties, right? These lots, these vacant lots in Lehigh. How much are these home builders actually paying, right? So now I got all these builders. I have 100 builders to now either call or email, and I'm going to send the builders this email or call them, right? And I'm going to say, good morning. I hope this email finds you well. I'm reaching out because I see you have newly built homes in Lehigh Acres. I bring builders properties below market value. We work backwards and want to target the properties based on what you're specifically buying, right? That's why we go to them first. You tell us what you want to pay and we'll bring the deals to you. If you have interest in bringing us deals, let me know exactly what you're looking for. So you're looking to get their buy box. What are they actually buying, right? So you can either email them, or it's even easier, like they pick up the phone a lot of the time, if you just call them and basically have the same conversation. What are you looking to buy? How much will you pay? And how many do you need, right? So they're going to respond with their buy box, and it's basically just their buying criteria, right? So we looked at Lehigh. This was an actual home builder that I do work with. They gave us the zip code 33976, and they said they'll pay $23,000 for any lot there, right? So I'm thinking in my head, if I get one for 15, I'm going to go ahead and make $8,000, right? So that's kind of the whole process of this. So now we locked in our home buyer, right? So now we need to find a seller for less than the buyer will pay. So we need to find the seller for less, right? So won't we all be chasing the same sellers though? So again, we love AI. Let's ask ChatGPT, right? And house flipping works, don't get me wrong. So I said, house flipping versus land flipping, what's more saturated by how much? And then it responded and said massively more saturated by a factor of 20 to 40, right? So just so you know, like, this is very, very untapped. And again, so in Florida, there was 46,611 land sales of vacant lots in the last 12 months, right? So that's one state, right? You can do this in 40 plus states. Just in Florida alone, there was 46,000 sales, right? So there's a lot of transactions going on that you can get in between in this market right now. So how do you actually find a seller for less? You're going to go to PropStream.com. What we're going to do on PropStream is we're going to get a list and phone numbers of every single person in that zip code. And then with one click of a button, we can mass text every single one of them, right? So for an example, and I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to actually pull this list and everything. But for this example, if the builder said they're going to pay $23,000 and let's say I want to make $3,000 per deal, I'm going to text every single person at one time in that market and say, I'll give you $20,000 to purchase your property, right? So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to PropStream. And as soon as we get on PropStream, what we're going to want to do is we're going to go to, when we get on PropStream, we were in zip code 33976, right? So let's go back to 33976. And it's going to pull up every property. There's 16,000 properties here. I don't want houses, right? I'm going to go to vacant land. And the builder said he will pay $23,000. So next thing is you want to make sure it's off market, right? Because the builders can already see the deals on the market. And then the last thing is you're going to want to make sure that, one, it's been owned for more than 5 years. And then last, that they purchased it for less than $15,000, right? Because we're going to offer them 20. So we want them to make more money on the property. And then we're also, I'm just going to put this in. We want it to be in an individual, mixed, or a trust name. We don't want any LLCs, right? That's what corporate means. It's hard to find their phone numbers. So it gives me 1,748 properties, right? I can now click on this button. I can go ahead and save this. And when I save it, I'm going to do 33976, 20K offer. I'm not going to save it. I already have this list. But once you save it, it's going to give you every single one of these properties with the contact information for the seller, right? So it's going to give you their phone numbers. And this is why it's important, because now I'm going to go to this website, smartercontact.com. And with Smarter Contact, I'm not going to go ahead and show you guys my leads and stuff like that. You can mass text everybody at once. So those 1,700 people, I'm going to send them all a text message that looks just like this. It's going to say, I'll pay you $20,000 plus closing costs for this address. I need more lots in your area, dash your name, right? So once of 1,700 people, eventually one's going to respond and say yes, right? So once someone said, yes, I want 20 grand, you're going to send them this contract, right? You're going to go ahead and put your name, the seller's name, the address, $20,000, the buyer's title company that they gave you earlier, you're going to sign, they're going to sign, and now you got the seller, right? So now we're going to go back to the builder and you're going to send them this contract right here. This one allows you to assign it to them, fill in this information. You're going to put 23,000 right there. And then you're going to move on to this third step of this. And this is by far my favorite step. And this is how to get paid, right? So how to actually get the money after you go ahead and put all these contracts together. So you're going to send this email to the title company, right? So subject line, you're going to go ahead and put the property address. I hope you're doing well. Confirm receipt. Wire the funds at the date of closing. You put your wire information to them. The closing date, the seller's information, $20,000. Your information, $3,000. The buyer's information, $23,000, right? So you fill all that in. Then you're going to approve the HUD. They're going to send this to you. Just make sure that, okay, the buyer price is correct up there. The seller price is correct up there. So this is a real deal we did. We got the deal for $165,000. So the seller got $165,000. The buyer paid $275,000. And then our assignment fee, this is my company, JW Light Homes. We got a $110,000 wire for this deal without putting any money up, right? So again, I knew we got it for $165, sold it for $275. I know we were supposed to get $110. You want to make sure those numbers all look good. You just respond to the title company, say, hey, we're good to go. And then 2 to 3 weeks later, you are going to be getting wires just like this, right? So these are real wires that hit our bank account, 56,000, 26, 191. And just to show you guys kind of how real this is, and it's not an easy process, right? Like it's very hard for someone to just get started as a beginner and think that they can wake up like this in 2 weeks, right? But if you guys commit to this and genuinely stick to this business, you can see all of these wires, right? Like waking up to these is the coolest feeling in the world. And like sometimes I still don't even believe it's real. So just to kind of show you guys what's possible, and these are real wires that really went to our account, right? So that's what happens after you approve the HUD. You're going to go ahead and get the difference in price, right? So we got some big ones in here for sure, but they're not all this size. The average deal size for a beginner, I'd say, is like 3,000 to 6,000. And then as you get more experienced, I've noticed it goes up to about 8,000 to 10,000. Our average deal now is a little over $9,000 in profit, right? And again, this is without putting any money up. So let's go over everything start to finish. I'm going to do a real deal example here. So this is a deal in Okeechobee, Florida, right? So this is the actual lot that we're going to be talking about here. I had a buyer respond to an email I sent, and he said he's looking to buy 3 more lots in Okeechobee that are 2.5 acres. And he said he would pay $50,000 for each lot. Right. So I went to PropStream. I found all the lots that were 2.5 acres. There was 351. I mass texted them all this text exactly. And guys, as we go through this, look at the address and look at the dates. You can see kind of the dates. We're sending out the contracts. The address matches up with everything. This is a real deal that we did. So I'll pay you $25,000. They said 30 and we have a deal. So I knew I could make 20 grand at the 30, but I don't like to jump on the seller's prices ever because it almost scares them away sometimes. So like, I'm not trying to be greedy here by any means. It's just if I jumped on the 30, they might be like, oh wait, maybe I should ask for more, right? So I said 28,000 and I cover all closing costs. They said deal, right? So we sent them the contract. Here you go. Same address, 28,000. You can see I sent it to the seller on January 22nd. I signed, they signed at the bottom. Then we went back to the buyer, same address. It took them 5 days, right? January 27th to drive by the property, look at everything. We went back at 50,000, right? So we got it at 28. Went to the buyer at 50. We sent this exact email. It was supposed to close on the 21st at 28,000 to the seller, 22,000 to us, 50,000 from the buyer, right? But it actually closed a little bit early, right? Because sometimes the title work comes back sooner and stuff like that. And keep in mind, when I told the seller I'd cover the closing costs, that came out of our fee here. So 2 weeks later, February 12th, we got a $20,000 and $738 wire, right? And this is without putting any of our money up, nothing like that. So that's a whole deal breakdown. It sounds super simple, and it genuinely is, right? Like everybody always asks me, I'll explain what I do, and they say, why doesn't everyone do this? And genuinely, I don't have an answer for them, right? Like people don't know about it, right? So If you would like to work with us, there will be a link in the description and the description of this video. You can apply to work with us. We have a full community. We have hundreds and hundreds of successful students that you can partner with on your deals. Carson and I partner with our students exclusively. We buy about 5 to 10 deals a month from our students exclusively. And if you would like to apply to work with us, go ahead and click the description below. But thanks again, and we'll be back with more videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe.